Hi, my name is Jayoza, and I coach people who have to give high stakes speeches, whether it's for a conversation, job interview, or a formal speech. One of the questions that I ask myself is this: what can I do today that a machine cannot do better, or machine will not be able to do better in the near future? Now, I'm not sure whether you asked this question or not, but I think you should, because every day I come across articles that informs me that the machines are overtaking things that we thought we could only do well. So I came across an interesting article today, and this appeared in Nature, and I'll have a link in the description section so you can take a look at. Google acquired this company called DeepMind, I think out of London. So now it's a Google office out of London. And they created a program called AlphaGo that defeated a European champion that plays this game called Go. Now, I'm not that familiar with this game at all, but it's essentially like a grid, uh, 18 by 18 or 19 by 18. I'm not an expert on this. And you put these rocks, these polished rocks, and the idea of the game is you got to surround it and you capture the rock. That's the gist of it. But you don't really need to know how to play the game. All I can tell you is it's more complex than chess. Now, if you remember, in 1997, Deep Blue, which was developed by IBM, defeated at that time the grandmaster, the number one chess player, Gary Kasparov. What IBM at that time did was they used the brute force method. They just had too much computational power. And chess, if you look at the board, where you are on the board for a particular piece, there are only 35 other positions, places you could go to, right? And then there would be 35 more, 35 more. So as you can see, that if you have enough computational power, you can look farther ahead than any human being possibly can. And it did defeat Gary Kasparov. But Go is much more complicated. Each position, there are 250 other positions you have to look at. So there are no computers still powerful enough to use the brute force method. So you have to use a different kind of method. So what the team here, a DeepMind team, Google's DeepMind team did was they initially learned the game from human beings. Then they used this technique called deep learning, and using neural networks and all sorts of fancy technology, the program was learning from other programs like it. So it not only was learning initially from the human beings who had played the game, but then after a while, you can't beat a human if that's what you're learning from. You have to be better than them. So then it was learning more and more from the games that the computer was playing, the AlphaGo programs were playing. So it was becoming smarter and smarter from essentially itself. And this should be scary. This should be really scary. In one sense, scary, in one sense, fantastic. What this means from a scary point of view is that pretty soon we can't claim that we know that we can do things that are better than what a computer can do. We have to learn to work with the computer, right? The fantastic part is that since it's able to do it better and more than human beings, it can find things that we normally cannot find, whether it's in science, whether it's in medicine, or anything. Means that now we could solve some intractable problems like cancer or things that are just beyond our capabilities. So, in a sense, we are going to have to get really good at working with machines. That's given. Whether you like it or not, that is the fact. But there's one thing that we still are going to be able to do better than machines. And you know what that is? It's eyeball to eyeball communication. Machines just can't do that. Machines can do a lot of things. Machines going to be able to speak too, by the way. They're going to be, we're already seeing that. Siri can speak. But what Siri cannot do is, cannot have an eyeball to eyeball conversation. There are three things that we are still going to do better than machines: connect, influence, and persuade. Those three skills means that you're going to have to learn how to speak. There's no other way you're going to be able to connect by just showing up. Doesn't happen. You're going to have to say something. You're not going to be able to influence by just showing them data. You're going to have to really learn how to do it with your spoken words and how you do it. And then persuade. How are you going to do it? Again, you just can't throw a lot of data and information to persuade somebody. So, if you are a parent and you have young children, I see these parents take their children to Kumon classes and all kinds of classes. And I ask myself, all those skills they're going to learn, they're going to have to know it. But I wonder, are they also sending their kids to learn to develop speaking skills? Or forget about children, let's say you're an adult. At some point, your greatest advantage is not only to understand technology and how it works, but then do you have the skills to be able to communicate, to present that information, to connect with people, so you can develop relationships, so you can influence, so you can persuade and make progress. If you don't have that skill, I just don't see how people are going to be successful in the future. This skill is absolutely needed today, and it's not going to go away in the future either. Let me know what you think, and thank you for watching.